Okay, guys, so next week we have the MDTP coming up for the second try. We'll do a final try at the end of the school year, around April or May. But the second try, I expect some improvement. And what scares me, and this should scare you a little bit, is that you guys were missing IM1, Algebra 1 material. And specifically in this case, I want to focus on linear equations. You know, graphing linear equations, doing y equals mx plus b, all that kind of stuff. And you'll see. So here are some practice problems I need you to study with me. So let's go. So guys, here, notice we're given y equals, now that's basically a linear equation if you can't tell. The x only has a power of 1, so it's linear, okay? But they want us to solve for x. Well, how will we do that? Well, let me just clean this up first a little bit. The first thing we're going to do is, you probably notice there's a divide 2 there. Well, how do we get rid of divide 2? We're going to times both sides by 2. So, on the left, we'll now have 2 times y equals. On the right, the 2's will cancel each other because 2 over 2 is 1. And we're just left with 3x minus 5. Now, remember, our goal is to get this x by itself here. So the next thing we're going to do, please ignore the bell, is we're going to add 5 to both sides. So what do we have on the left? 2y plus 5 equals, with 5 minus 5, 0, notice the only thing left is 3x. What's my final step? All I need to do now is divide by 3, and x equals that answer there. Okay? So notice you're just using the same steps you should have learned when solving any equation. Okay? Now, I want you to pause the video right now and try this one. Okay, so let's see how you did here. Hopefully you started by timesing both sides by 5. On the left, we have 5y equals. On the right, the 5 divided by 5 is 1. We're just left with 4x plus 3. Now, let's go ahead and minus 3 both sides. On the left, we have 5y minus 3 equal. On the right, 3 minus 3 is 0. The only thing left is 4x. Remember, we're trying to solve for x here. We're trying to get x basically by itself. So the final step, we're just going to divide by 4. That gets rid of times 4. And notice my x will equal that right there. And that's all there is to it. Okay? So hopefully you'll watch and study this part of the video and make sure you understand it. Now, another thing that came up on this exam that shocked me is you guys couldn't do basic linear systems. That's what we have here. So, we're trying to figure out what y is here, so what are we going to do? Well, notice that if I just simply add these two equations together, see how the y minus y cancels out. Let's do that. So, if I have x plus an x, that's 2x. Notice the equals right here. And 5 plus 9 is 14. I can now solve for x, right? All I need to do is divide by 2, and I get x equal to 7. Well, you may be thinking, well, we want y, not x, but this is a system, guys. Now that we know x, I could plug in 7 there or there, and I now can find y. So let's use the second one since it's a plus. If I put in 7 for x, I got 7 plus y equal to 9. Well, all I need to do is minus 7, right? And I know that y is 2. And that's all there is to it. Okay? Now I want you to go ahead and pause the video right here and try this one. So hopefully the first thing you did was you realized, hey, if I add, I'll have x plus x is 2x. y minus y is 0 equals, keep everything lined up now, 5 plus 13 is 18. I can now divide by 2, and I know that x is 9. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Now, I'm going to take this 9 and plug it in there. And I have 9 plus y equal to 5. All I have to do is carefully minus 9 both sides. I know my y is negative 4. That's all there is to this, guys. So, again, I just want to remind you what scares me and should scare you is you guys are missing these basic linear kind of problems. All right, let's do one more type of problem. Here, the key thing of this one, guys, like all of them, by the way, is to show your work, right? They're telling me x is negative 4. So what can I do? I can plug in the negative 4. So notice here, be careful that this is an absolute value there. I have absolute value negative 4 minus 7 over a regular negative 4 minus 7, right? So let's do the absolute value first. Negative 4 minus 7 is negative 11. Now what you need to remember is the absolute value, and negative 4 minus 7 again is negative 11. And as I was saying, you need to remember that the absolute value will always make the number positive. So what's the absolute value of this negative 11? It's 11. And we have that over a negative 11, because negative 4 minus 7 again is negative 11, right? Well, what's 11 divided by negative 11? That's just simply negative 1. Okay? So if anything, you should do like I'm doing, guys. Show your work. Work it out on paper. Don't do it in your head. That's how we make all of those careless mistakes. Now pause the video one more time and try this one. Okay, so hopefully you took negative 6 and you substituted it in for x, since x is negative 6. And so this is what we would have now. Now, negative 6 plus 3, or 3 minus 6, is negative 3. So this is what we have now. Again, negative 6 plus 3, or 3 minus 6 is negative 3. And what is the absolute value of any number? It becomes positive. So in this case, we get a positive 3 over this negative 3. And when I divide that, I get negative 1 again. So don't think every answer is necessarily going to be negative 1 in this case. But the whole point is, guys, there's no reason why you can't study a little bit and learn these basic linear type of equations. All right? So please study this. Make sure you get these right on next week's exam. See you in class.